Changing batteries. Ford is moving to a new focus at the electric vehicle battery plant in Hardin County. It'll also come with major layoffs of the existing workers by Blue Oval SK. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. We have been following this late-breaking story very closely tonight. 1 week before Christmas. The news is certainly a shocker. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear was right here in Louisville tonight when the story broke, and WHAS11 Night Team's Alex Dieter and photojournalist Aspen Hester caught up with him and explained the change.
With what the president did in the big ugly bill, with what Brett Guthrie did, because this is in his district and passing it. You know, they took a hatchet to the EV industry where we become a national leader. Any temporary job losses is directly on this president and that congressman because there was a big, bright future in front of it.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear on the sweeping layoffs at the Blue Oval SK battery plant in Glendale. Mallory Cook with Blue Oval SK confirmed that all positions have been terminated. Cook says that the 1,500 joint venture team members at the Kentucky plant, along with some of the 1,650 team members in the state, will be laid off.
What we don't know about is the current jobs that are at Blue Oval, how many will be retained in the short term, and when the hiring begins and how it ramps up.
Ford announced quickly its plans to hire 2,100 workers after it converts the EV battery plant into energy storage.
It's very unfortunate that the employees are going to be laid off, but Blue Oval SK is going away. And all of those employees will have that opportunity to reapply with Ford Motor Company to hopefully go back to work.
President and COO of Elizabethtown Hardin County Industrial Foundation, Andy Games, says their top priorities are with the impacted employees and working with Ford to get the new project up and running.
To where we can turn around and hopefully rehire all of those employees that were laid off into a new job with Ford Motor Company.
Blue Oval SK says the employee's last day with the company will be 60 days after receiving notice.
We've got a very thriving manufacturing sector here locally in Elizabethtown, and some of those jobs could be filled within existing manufacturing plants.
The announcement comes just days after SK On's disclosure that it was ending the partnership with Ford.
What I do think it does is it secures the future of Kentucky One. And as long as battery storage is moving the way that I think it will, it creates a good possibility for Kentucky too.
Despite the looming layoffs, Kentucky's governor is staying optimistic for the change ahead.
So good to hear the perspective of Andy Games, that you talked to him tonight. This story sort of was like whiplash today.
Right.
The way it came out was pretty crazy. First we hear 1 minute that all 1,600 workers are going to be laid off, but then news that Ford's going to be hiring them back even more than 1,600.
Right. There's a lot of information to digest right now, and we are bringing you the information as we get it. But Ford is actually expecting this conversion to the energy storage to take about a year and a half. So it's not going to happen overnight. And so Ford also says the facility is expected to open in 2027. It says it plans to invest $2 billion over the next 2 years to scale the new battery energy storage system business. And like we heard from the governor and Ford and Andy Games all tonight, all current Blue Oval SK employees are eligible to reapply for the Ford energy storage system. But again, that won't be up and running for almost another 2 years, Doug.
All right. A lot of concern for those who be laid off. Thank you very much, Alex. Now, also breaking tonight, neighbors in Linden who waged a huge campaign against rezoning for a business there win big tonight. The Linden City Council voting against the rezoning request to build the Leaf Spring preschool on vacant land that runs right alongside Old Whips Mill Road. Now, back in October, many residents talked to WHAS 11 News and fought hard against it. In fact, they blanketed streets and neighborhoods with signs. But the company that manages Leaf Spring School thought it was an incredible opportunity for them to build there. Tonight, 5 city council members in Linden in attendance voted against the request. They all found that the area is just not meant for the preschool. By the way, we did text a Leaf Spring representative. We had their contact, a request for comment tonight, but we have not heard back as of noon time. It's cold out there again tonight, but what we've been seeing is certainly a warm-up for tomorrow. So Jefferson County schools are heading back to the classrooms tomorrow. That's right, the students will be right back in those classrooms after 2 days for NTI. Our chief meteorologist Mallory Schnell is here with me now with a first look at your weather. And Mallory's tomorrow's high will certainly be noticed around here.
Yes, it will. And we're just talking high temperatures in the 40s, but we have been so chilly the last couple of days with lows in the single digits. Sunday afternoon, we didn't make it out of the teens, so these 40s will probably feel quite nice. We're expecting partly sunny skies tomorrow with winds coming in from the south and southwest. Right now, temperatures for the most part are in the 20s all across Kentucky, and of course, Louisville being the outlier there at 30 degrees, 29 in Shepherdsville, 26 in E-Town, 29 in Hodgenville. So chilly, but in comparison to this time last night, we are running 20 degrees milder. So expect those overnight lows in the 20s, and really that milder pattern kicks off tomorrow. I'll let you know when rain chances return coming up in our 7-day forecasts. Doug.
Mallory, thank you. It's time to talk about holiday travel once again. AAA saying the beginning of Christmas traveling will start this Saturday, December 20th. AAA projecting 122.4 million Americans will be traveling over this upcoming holiday period. AAA says that's a 2.2% increase over 2024, surpassing last year's record of 119 million travelers. Well, make sure you have a real ID if you're going to be heading to an airport. The federal government says it's the fastest way to get through TSA. If you don't have one, go to your local driver's license regional office, where officials say wait times are now way down. WHAS11 Night Team's Jose Alonso is looking into that claim.
If you're taking a jet this holiday season to see family or loved ones, then you'll need a real ID for a smooth process through TSA.
If they need an upgrade to a real ID compliant license, now's a good time to come in.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's driver licensing regional offices are the places to get one. We found 2 customers at the Bowman Field location and asked about their experience.
And I wanted to get the real ID because I'm traveling next year, and made an appointment. Came in super fast, under 5 minutes actually.
But I came out here to get a real ID. I actually thought I had an appointment for today. Turns out I went in and I didn't. They said no biggie. And then someone was able to help me and they go, oh yeah, it's a quick process. And I was in and out in 10 minutes.
Earlier this year, the line was outside the door at this same location. But after some changes, KYTC says these experiences sit well with their recent data.
April and May, when we saw our peak traffic, to October, we went from 49 minutes to 14 minutes for the average walk-in customer to be in and out of the office. The same thing with appointments. We went from 25 minutes to 11 minutes.
KYTC attributes this to hiring 125 more people, using new management methods, and opening a 5th location in downtown Louisville, all to curb the long wait times that James Kitchens had to endure.
I brought my daughter back in the summer to get her permit, and you know, we did everything we were supposed to, and it felt like about 2.5 to 3 hours.
But the federal government's push to either get a real ID or face a $45 fee at the airport leads to the question.
Are you expecting these lines and wait times to increase again, or do you feel like what you have set up right now is able to take care of it?
You know, I think, with what we've seen over the last few months, I think, we should be in a good spot.
Take advantage of shorter lines while you can. In Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
The federal government says it'll start charging travelers that $45 fee at the airport starting February 1st this coming year. If you have a passport, then don't sweat it too much, as they are also considered as good as a real ID. Tomorrow is Election Day for one section of Jefferson County. Tomorrow, voters will be heading to special polling locations in one part of southwest Jefferson County for the special election. It's to fill the Kentucky State Senate seat for District number 37. Now, the interim Jefferson County clerk today saying only 1% of voters have cast their early ballots. Here's a look at the large district in southwest Jefferson County up for grabs. It includes PRP, Valley Station, and even some of Fairdale and Shively, vacated by David Yates, who is now the interim Jefferson County clerk. 3 candidates are making their bid for the position. The winner will finish the Senate term, serving the remaining 3 years. Democrat Gary Clemens, union leader and Army veteran, Republican Calvin Leach, a military veteran and airport employee, and Libertarian Wendy Higdon, a surgical technologist and foster parent. Tonight, Gary Clemens held a voter rally at Teamsters Local 89 with the governor there supporting him.
Trying to get jobs here, safety, infrastructure, and just really the main issues I'm dealing with when I go out to meet people is the prices of everything's going up, their income's not. So how to figure that out and try to figure out a way to bring some businesses here.
Earlier today, we talked with the other 2 candidates who are on the ballot.
We have to figure out something to do with property taxes, and what I would propose is doing away with it altogether for seniors, vets, and disabled folks.
I would like to put out legislation that would cap student enrollment numbers, which would make the Jefferson County public school system kind of break up into smaller districts.
Tomorrow is the final chance for voters in District 37 to cast their ballot at any of the 8 polling locations open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can visit this article on our website at WHAS11.com for a lot more voter information about the special election. And we'll have special election results for you tomorrow night right here on the Night Team. Now to the ongoing investigation of the shooting at Brown University, the shooting that killed 2 students and injured 9. A person of interest was released from custody as police say the manhunt for Saturday's shooter is now back on. Surveillance video taken Saturday does show a person of interest wearing all black, walking away from the shooting location, and with another angle a little closer, as you see right here. Police releasing the new video earlier today of the person of interest. The FBI and police continue to collect evidence from the scene as they track down the suspect. New at 11 on the WHAS 11 Night Team on the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. ABC News with a new timeline detail out tonight, saying Rob Reiner and his son Nick got into an argument Saturday night at a holiday party.
And as we head to break, here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $80 million. Powerball, $1.1 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.